Our history is no more than a series of incredible events. Each one of us can influence its course. The tiniest of our decisions can influence the future of mankind. To know the past is to anticipate the future. 551 years before our era, the Lu region in ancient China. Confucius is born into a modest family. 57 years later, 80 magnificent women are offered to the sovereign of Lu, for whom Confucius is the minister of justice. In the 3rd century of our era, his disciples complete the compilation of his Analects. In so doing, they immortalize his thoughts. These 3 intimately connected events are the founding elements of the Chinese psychology. Their effects have been influencing the world for 2,500 years. It is one of these small countries, on the banks of the Yellow River, that our story begins. On this day, in September, 551 years before our era, more than 2 millennia ago, Q is born to the Kong family. Many centuries later, his name, Christianized, will be known throughout the West as Confucius. At the age of 19, he chooses the path of administration and becomes intendant of his region's granaries. He then works his way gradually up through the ranks to become Minister of Public Works. Confucius is a born administrator. He is fair, upright, honest, and rigorous. For him, politics is not for personal advantage, but to improve the lives of the people. He is a statesman. His achievements and successes naturally earn him the envy and hostility of less talented or less honest civil servants. Throughout his life, he will encounter scheming and conspiracy against him, even going as far as attempts at assassination. His inability to confront them is proof of his integrity. If he is no longer wanted, he prefers to leave and take his advice elsewhere rather than to descend into dishonorable political maneuvering. Like every man of integrity, he will move from disappointment to frustration. His aspiration to create the ideal government turns into a quest. His aim is to find a sovereign capable of listening to him. Believe in man. That is Confucius's credo. The human being fascinates him. He believes man is naturally good and is convinced of his capacity to improve. He insists especially on the value of education. So he travels extensively, goes to the provinces to advise princes, to give them the recipe for good government, hoping that they will listen to him. Gradually, through experience, he evolves a sort of moral code, a line of conduct. Drawing inspiration from ancestral traditions, Confucius makes it into a rule for life that he never hesitates to teach. Very quickly, he gathers about him disciples who listen to him and contribute to the spread of his ideas. Progressively, the administrator promoted to princely advisor becomes a thinker. Virtue is within the grasp of all. Confucius was convinced of that. His thought is a humanist philosophy. Man is neither good nor evil by nature. The choice of his life belongs to him. Through learning, he can succeed in putting his faults aside and cultivating his strengths. But for the philosopher, education does not end with books. You must also develop one's talents through contact with experience and with life. Merely stuffing oneself with knowledge is not enough. An ideal prince is a virtuous prince. To govern, he has no need for violence or the death penalty. It is sufficient to set the example and the people will follow. After the death of the master, this teaching will be committed to writing in a collection known as the Analects, which has survived to our very day.
Ideas are mightier than weapons. What is Confucianism? A religion? A philosophy? The very definitions of the two terms are difficult to clarify. Across the world and time, there is such a variety that boundaries are blurred. For Confucianism, the most appropriate word is thought. Teaching rather than beliefs. Confucianism does not call on you to believe. It gives advice and a path to follow, a method. It coexists in the same territory as Taoism and Buddhism. The fact that the three spiritual disciplines cohabit proves their mutual tolerance. And yet, this spirituality inspired by a master is not exclusive to China. At more or less the same period in ancient Greece, Socrates is also teaching his pupils. Like Confucius, he writes no books himself, and his thoughts are spread by his disciples. Both thinkers were in search of a more just society, and both exercised massive influence over their respective civilization. These ideas, thoughts, and beliefs have modeled the way we view the world, understand life, and think about death. And yet they are no more than words. A few sentences spoken at the side of a road or under a tree. Without Socrates and Confucius, and also Buddha, Lao Tzu, or the philosophers of the Enlightenment, the world would be radically different. In good as in evil.